Boom, we are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us this evening. This is Teal with the Arcane Bear. I want to take a look at Bitcoin, gold, Solana, some quick looks at Link, SUI, and Psy, the dollar. We're going to rip through this as quickly as we can for TO Talks Tuesday. Here's Bitcoin. Not much has changed. I suspect that we are still in a weaker reaccumulation after decline. Again, we are following the Wyckoff schematics here as closely as possible. Well, everybody has been fearful. We were actually rather bullish down here, and that turned out well. Now we're getting right to the top of the range here, right to the top of the reaccumulation range is what I believe it's going to be, and we're starting to meet resistance. If we turn on the bear claw, one of our favorite free indicators, we've hit the first bout of resistance on the 200-day moving average. Currently on the 6-hour, the 206-hour moving average, and we have the 314 simple moving average up here for the 6-hour as well, at around 89,000. I actually think we're going to push into 89,000 before we come all the way back down one last time. Now, there are some interesting things in the market though that are giving me cause for even more bullish potential, which means maybe no spring at the bottom of this. Now, one of the things that we've done in the past is after long bouts of down, we look for reaccumulation periods within the market, and often those happen in smaller time frames before they show themselves on the bigger time frame. Now, the dollar has gotten absolutely hammered. About 9 months ago, we made a pretty solid prediction here that we would actually end up, this would break down. And for some reason, we didn't know what the cause would be yet. We would see that the dollar would break down here. And it turned into what I believe is a distributional pattern for the dollar. I believe the dollar is going to get some strength here over the next little while and then bid lower than it has in quite some time. Gold, on the other hand, has actually followed almost textbook. We made our previous video was we dropped down to the $3,000 area. I was like, that looks like the bottom of the range, and we shot all the way up to new all-time highs for gold very quickly. Gold has actually been performing more textbook than Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin is about to show its true colors here. Again, going back to this, I think we're in a reaccumulation after decline. I think we're going to spend another bounce or two here, but there is an argument that we don't come much lower and we start the breakout sooner than I would have expected. Now, why do I think that? Let's look at Solana. Now, on the 15-minute, we see what appears to be a perfect horizontal reaccumulation range taking place after a nice 20% run off the test of the 15-minute simple moving averages here, both in green and blue. Now, on the larger time frame, this reaccumulation pattern barely shows up. And we've been in a long-term downtrend here for Solana for quite some time. What is that? About 100 days effectively. So normally I would be really bullish if I was seeing reaccumulation patterns back here like we were at the beginning of 2023, because the first reaccumulation patterns we saw for Solana that started all this fun was right here. And this was really exciting. You can go back and watch all those videos in early October, September, July 2023. I was like, throw the fucking kitchen sink at the markets because everything looked so primed. We had been in a long-term downtrend, long-term, multi-month, almost into the multi-year reaccumulation pattern. After this moment though, where we're going into accumulation, some type of reaccumulation, and what looks like a partial distribution, these first signs of reaccumulation probably aren't going to bring us into screaming highs, but they could bring us at least back to the $190 and $160 mark. So on the smaller time frames for Solana, it looks something like this to me. I believe that we were in a multi-month downtrend that looks like this. We've looked at these before. If you go back over the years of our videos, they are a reaccumulation pattern. They're one of the weakest ones, and they're usually after an intermediary form of distribution. Look at the back of this. The bear claw has shifted on the 6-hour. I think we're about to test, and you can see this little green bit here where the reaccumulation was drawn. If we zoom in right at the back of what would be the SOS of this range. So I think that we're going to see this backup phase and move into 150, maybe upwards of $200. Now, if I'm right about Bitcoin and we continue into new all-time highs right away, Solana will probably try to pierce into this $280 area. I don't know if it's going to go much higher than that, but Solana is showing a lot of strength here. Now, the other one that I wanted to show was SEI, SEI. The reason being is it has a very similar connotation. Look, we have been in a long downtrend here for SEI, and we've pointed these out in the past. It's not picture perfect as some of them I would like to be. But again, this looks like that falling reaccumulation pattern that we've seen in the past. I can make an argument for an inverse head and shoulders like this and a breakout of the 214-day. We could see a huge run here in not relative to the bull market, but at least relative to where these assets are currently sitting at, somewhere between the 200 to 300% run range. So I'm keeping a very close eye on both SEI and Solana at the moment. They look picture perfect. And on the 6 hour, and as I zoom in here, you can see we've seen the first real potential retest of the bear claw here. So this is looking really good. Now, there's a few a few positive things. Number one, the stochastic RSI is totally reset, but the MACD is trying to cross over. So we're gonna have to keep a really close eye on these. It's currently about 1775. If it said 1776 right now, I would be even more bullish. For those of you that are American, you know what I'm talking about. But it's 1775. I guess it's the year before 1776, which could be a bullish thing. Anyways, nonetheless, Bitcoin looks primed. SEI looks primed. This kind of touch up against the 6 hour bear claw here is looking really good. We're at right below the multi-month downtrend in, again, what appears to be an inverse head and shoulders before the breakout and potentially the move across the simple moving averages here. So looks like there's a lot of opportunity in the market. Look, we've been in a downtrend for months now. Let's see, from the peak of SEI to where we are now, we've been in a downtrend for 133 days. So there's reason to believe that we're going to see some type of upside. Again, the cards are rated more in a bullish factor. There's been so much bad news and it didn't push the markets down that much. And in fact, they've rebounded quite consistently across the board. So between gold, Bitcoin, the dollar dying, and the Federal Reserve recently coming out and said we would prop up the markets if need be, I think there's a real cause for an intermediary bullish case, because a lot of people are scared right now, and that to me says go long. Could there be room for more downside? Yes, absolutely. But I think what we're looking at here in Bitcoin, I think I'm going to be justified with this. I believe this is what's going to turn out to be true. We're going to be in a reaccumulation after decline. We could bounce around here for a little bit, and then I think we're going to $150,000 and maybe even higher for Bitcoin. But at least 150,000 is my kind of first target here. So keep that in mind. Anyways, this is Tio with the Arcane Bear. I'm signing off for the evening. I'm sorry I missed last Tuesday. When I was doing the twice a week, you guys watched less videos, so maybe just once a week is enough. I'm not really sure. Maybe I just suck at making videos now, or my thumbnails suck. I have no idea. Maybe YouTube hates me. That's actually probably the more likely situation. YouTube smashed me years ago and I've never been able to recover. So it's just you, the Bear family, and myself, and the most diehard committed community I've been able to build over the years of those of you keep showing up. I'm very grateful. Thank you all for supporting me over the years. Yeah, enjoy the markets. It looks like there's some fun right around the corner. But I'm playing, again, you know, Bitcoin has been the northern light guiding star of this thesis and the center point throughout the years. But there is fun to play in speculation. But I think in general, you know, Bitcoin has been the best terms of investment, and everything else I think was a bid for, hoping for a more decentralized market and community. We sold all of our Ethereum a while back, around 3,200. We sold all of our NFTs. I didn't say anything. My friend reminded me tonight. He's like, "You sold everything?" I was like, "Oh yeah, my bad. I should have said something." Bitcoin's been the center of the thesis for so long, I forget that there's interest in everything else. You know, the reason I like the other things is because I like speculating on the potential future for the decentralized game that we're playing. So it's something fun to keep an eye on. But anyways, this reaccumulation pattern, I think, is what's about to give us the truth here. And it's probably going to catch a lot of people off guard, because I see a lot of people open shorts and they're probably feeling the sweat. I'm hoping for one more test of this range though, near the bottom. I'm hoping actually we come down. It'd be amazing if we tested 72,000 for a spring here, but I'm not sure if we get that. Anyways, if you're in the private group, you'll know what this looks like. We've shared it a few times on the YouTube channel. Anyways, deal with the Archipelago. We're signing off for the night. We'll see you guys again.